Well, hello there, humans. I'm Bushka, and today we are going to go deep on the AKM, the 7.62 regular world drop spawn AR. Now, this weapon has had a lot of buffs over the past year or two. However, someone on the PUBG Mobile dev team has gone hog wild on the AKM, and we have now got something incredible. People that don't do a lot of data mining and don't do a lot of testing wouldn't know a whole lot about the balance of the weapons. The bullet speed, correlation with limb damage, and headshot multipliers, and all kinds of things. Aim assist ratios. If you have been watching those things, and if you're watching the channel regularly, you'll know that I do an awful lot of this data mining stuff. What the AKM has had added to it this patch is nothing short of astounding. Now, I'm going to break down the stats, I'm going to break down the numbers, and I'm going to let you in on a few of the little secrets that make this weapon absolutely catastrophically, diabolically amazing right now. But if you could just first hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified when I upload these videos. These are all very in-depth videos that give you a big edge on the competition. If you're watching this channel, you're going to basically get the knowledge and hopefully put that into your gameplay. Anyway, let's kick off. The changes that the AKM was supposedly copying in the patch were increased bullet speed, increased limb damage, and an aim assist addition. They really buried the lead here. It isn't just minor changes. These are staggering amounts, particularly the limb damage. The bullet speed is excellent too. The AKM and the Graza both had the same bullet speed previously, 714 meters a second. The AKM's now at 750 meters a second. Now, that's only a 37 meter bump, but what it does is it really separates the AKM from the Beryl M762. The M762 is 697 meters a second in terms of bullet speed, and the AKM was only just a shade above that. And it was one of the reasons why you'd probably take the Beryl over the AK for quite a long time. At 750, that's no longer the case. And bullet speed equals accuracy. If you have a faster bullet speed, you lead the target by less. And its time to kill over distances of like 30 or 40 meters is much better because it's got improved bullet speed. So that's number one. Now, this is number two. This is freaking phenomenal. If you're wondering why I'm lying on the ground with smoke, bot calling someone in, I'll tell you why. The limb damage on the AKM has been buffed off the charts. The AK and the Graza have the same base damage, 47.9, and they used to have the same limb damage, 21.6. The AKM now has 32.4 limb damage, and it's why I'm very, very, very comfortable shooting under a wall and bot calling a guy in, because I'm doing more damage to his feet than I would be doing to his chest if he was wearing a level 3 vest. Think about that. Think about that. The AKM's base limb damage is 32.4. Now, I've got to tell you why this is so crazy. Formerly, the big thing about SMGs, their big claim to fame was that they had incredible limb damage for their damage output. For instance, a M416 has 40.9 base damage. Okay, but its limb damage is a paltry 18.4. The Tommy gun, for instance, has 41.9 base damage, which is very close to an M416, plus 1 point. But its limb damage was 25. So it was 7 points higher, limb damage-wise, than an M416, but only had 1 point higher base damage. And the catch-up for this was that ARs had huge headshot multipliers. So while the Tommy gun had more base damage than the M416, its headshot damage was only 71.8. The M416's headshot damage was 94. Well, the AKM has rewritten the whole meta for the way SMG, AR, limb, and headshot ratios work. The AKM's headshot damage is 110. The AKM's limb shot damage is 32.4. It fires at about the same rate as an M416, and it has a much faster time to kill, and it has a 47.9 base damage round, and now it's able to do whopping chunks of damage to level 3 players. If you see someone at the end of a game and they're wearing level 3 armor and you just start shooting their legs, you are going to be doing so much more damage to that player. The standard limb damage for an AKM is 11 points higher than it is hitting a level 3 vest. So if you hit the arm or the leg or the hand or the foot, you're going to be doing about 30% more damage. No, 50% more damage than you would if you were hitting them in the chest. This means that when you're in AKM hipfire mode, you're getting all kinds of good results. Couple that with the improved accuracy, and then we'll start talking about the aim assist side of things. And you're now talking about a weapon that's had a complete overhaul. Now, the crazy thing about this is I did all the testing for the AKM and the barrel and the SCAR-L a couple of, like a month ago, and I tested all the rates of fire and everything like that. And the AKM was just fine. Its recoil wasn't that bad at all, and it certainly didn't feel like it needed much of a buff. But it didn't just get buffed, it got super duper steroided right up the yin yang. And this is really old footage of the AKM, and I used to run it quite a lot because I love the AKM's iron sights. It's got the best iron sights in the game, in my opinion. And yet, it's been buffed 3 times now over the course of its career in PUBG Mobile, where guns like the M416 have never really even moved. And the barrel M762 is just not as good anymore. It's not as good as the AKM now. It just doesn't have the stopping power the AKM does. It doesn't have the limb damage benefit, and it doesn't have the aim assist benefit. One of the great things about the AKM is it's specifically designed for CQC. Whether you're firing with a red dot or iron sights, when you do that, the AKM will more often drift towards the headshot. Aim assist works on red dots, iron sights, holographics, okay? It does not work on your 2x, 3x, 4x guns, which people still seem to really fall in a heap about. If you're able to take this weapon and use it in CQC and get ADS'd on it, it's going to find headshots more often. That's what the aim assist benefit does. Aim assist is something that a lot of people play without on purpose because there is a negative to aim assist. It will often go to a knocked target instead of a target that you're trying to shoot. It will drag the reticle towards that target. But overall, I think it's just too clearly a positive for it to be ignored. I'm really confused now as to what they want to do with the meta. We're in a bit of an arms race, and that's no pun intended. The M416 and all that kind of thing is great, but the UMP was the one that got buffed out the yin-yang. Well, the AKM now has much better limb damage than the UMP could ever hope to have. Like, it's redonkulous. It's a good 50% above the UMP's limb damage, and it's got good bullet speed. The UMP's one fallback is that it doesn't have good bullet speed. The AKM fires slower, but it fires at the same rate as an M416, and everyone else seems to manage just fine with an M416. Does it have more recoil? Sure. But the payoff damage-wise in the AKM is tremendous. And if you're an ADS player, someone that uses a red dot or even the iron sights on this weapon, it will find headshots more often for you, which I think is pretty amazing. You've also got to remember that despite the fact that it has been improved in terms of bullet speed and it is more manageable with recoil, thanks very much to our ability to equip a compensator and get good sensitivity, it's still not what you'd call, a spray and pray weapon. I always make sure that I have a ranged option. In fact, the new SCAR-L, which I'm doing a video on at the moment as well, and the AKM coupled together is an extraordinarily good pairing and something that I would think is going to be very, very popular amongst the top end of town in terms of the player base. I heartily recommend this weapon. I wholeheartedly recommend this weapon. It is a new experience. We've never had an AR that does this much limb damage before. It is a whopping big showstopper in terms of base damage, and it's able to turn that base damage because everything starts at 0. Like, if you're both coming together and you want stopping power and you both press the trigger at the same time, the first round from the AKM does 47.9. The first round for an M4 does 40.9. If you can hit a headshot and then a limb shot, you killed them. This is where we're at with a gun like the AKM. I do worry that we're getting more and more damage into the game and less survivability, which affects the overall enjoyment level. I mean, a bit of desync and a UMP and you're instantly dead. Anyway, that's where it's at. We've got a SCAR-L video coming up this week as well. We're going to be doing all the new stuff on the SCAR-L, and there is a lot of stuff to do on that. We've done all the numbers on that, so don't miss out on that. Remember to sub up, hit the notifications, ting, ting, ting the little bell. Look after yourselves, stay safe in the battlefield, and as always, bye for now.